All right, just got home from the office today. Got a SunJoe, the SPX 3001. I think the 3001 means that it comes with a hose reel. And so the first thing I noticed in taking it off the little side door here is the thing's a lot freaking heavier than I thought it was going to be. It's pretty stout feeling, a lot more stout than I anticipated. I anticipated just grabbing the box with one hand. Assuming this thing is relatively assembled. There's the hose adapter, the filter of some sort. So they sent me an email. I've been thinking about buying one of these for a while. This is the part I have to figure out, this connection in the end. I've been thinking about buying one for a while just to make a decision on, whether this was acceptable for me to carry in my store. And then they sent me an email and said, hey, would you like to try it out? First thing I noticed is the power cord is a freaking crap ton longer than the darn hose is on the thing, so that's not a good thing. Now, what is this thing, like 180 bucks or something like that, I think is what it costs. Certainly, I don't even use the wand on my Krenzla, so I'm most likely not going to use the wand on this thing. Or gun. Here's the gun it comes with. It's like all standard M22 fittings. Gosh, I love this knife. This is my super fancy Chris Reeve. Awesome. Yeah, this is really goofy how this thing is so darn short. What is this, 25 feet tops? And I wonder, I'm going to go out and grab one of my quick disconnect fittings. I think this is going to be too deep to grab the M22 that comes in the package. And it's a 25-foot little hose. I mean, it's possible that, part of the reason, this is a much less expensive pump, it's possible that, part of the need, that, you may need to have a shorter hose in order to produce the pressures that they're claiming, at 2000 PSI. So, is that our inlet here? It must be. So I guess our hose goes in there. To be honest with you, it's not as crappy as I thought it was going to be. Certainly not a Krenzla, but again, it's $100, $150, let's say $200. So it's not as bad as I thought. The question for me is going to be, would you be better off just using a garden hose, or are we better with this thing? And that's the answer that we're going to have to try to figure out. So we have some nozzles, which we won't use any of this stuff. I'm going to back my gun and wand and stuff to this. So I wonder if changing out the hose is even an option on this thing. Kind of has a funky connection. That's what we're going to figure out over the time that I'm going to test it on off. Here's our adjustment. So that'll be our unloader valve, I would guess, on the side. And the power cord is so darn long in comparison to this. So I guess the concept would be get the unit closer to where you're washing. I would rather have the opposite. I'd rather have the unit further away from where I'm washing and just use the hose. But I'm assuming that would still work. Alright, so first thing I noticed, this thing has a really goofy setup here. These appear to be, so this is a standard, inexpensive, cheap M22 to 3/8 coupler, and they're just kind of laying around. In the sizing, so it's standard M22 sizing, the threads, everything looks great, but this goofy little outlet, this thing doesn't, won't fit in the hole, and still the hole is different. So even though to the eye it looks very similar. This fitting has a larger opening, a larger hole. So if any of you guys have figured that out, you know, what actually works for this thing, I'd be happy for you to share that information. So this screws onto here. I mean, this gun, I can already tell, would be a nightmare. I wouldn't want to use this if I had the choice. So adapting a very simple. So I mean, again, all we need is we just need the proper connection, the proper sizing in order to adapt this really short hose. Gosh, even the screw onto this thing doesn't work so well. There we go. Jam it in there. So there's that, and then this is my whole reasoning behind getting all the quick disconnects. You don't have to do all this process of screwing stuff in, and naturally you'd want to Teflon tape this stuff. Notice this doesn't come with any Teflon tape, so you want to get some. And then it appears, let's see those connections. Quick disconnect appears to be stuck. You see it pushing this on, fixed it. There we go. Okay, let's see. So it stays. That's kind of neat. It stays open until you shove the nozzle in there. There's our 40-degree nozzle. Interesting. So then get this back up. I could see this thing falling over a lot too. And this hose is really short. See, this hose, it's just too. You can tell if this thing were any longer, it would drive you crazy because it, kinked up. Yeah, that's definitely no good. Let's see if there's a place. I wonder if these holders hold in the hose somewhere. I don't know what that's all about. Should probably read the directions, huh? Let's see, who cares about a warranty? I know I don't. Goes real. This thing goes here. And then the supplied screws will hold that in place. So that then this slide in, sit in place. So, I wonder what we do with the hose. I guess the idea is to disconnect the hose every time. And put all the nozzles up here. Not sure what you would need any more nozzles for, considering it just doesn't have enough power or output to really do anything around the house. Electric pressure washers will drive you crazy. Let's see how the garden hose screws in. Oh, that's why, because the gasket. the gasket wasn't pushed in. So this is the garden hose adapter that goes in the front. So if you're gonna go right there, so you can lock it in. And then our power cord will get wrapped around the back. I'm just gonna set it on here now. And there's a tank on the back. And so here's our SunJoe. Certainly, you know, for the cost, seems like a pretty viable little thing for washing cars. You know, the question I ask myself, and I'll have to use it, and I don't know how excited I'm going to be about using it, but the question I'd ask is this better than using a hose? To go through all of this clunkiness, you know, just to foam the car. I don't know. Which would I rather have. You know, the other thing that I think about, or the other thing that I question is, you know, if I, you know, let me rewind back, say, 10 years, and, you know, and put myself in a position where, you know, spending, you know, a lot of money on a pressure washer just doesn't make sense. Would I rather have an expensive pressure washer and just use basic stuff? You know, use less expensive, you know, polisher or no polisher, and you know, don't end up with all kinds of wash pads and buckets and all that stuff. Would I rather have, or rather invest the money in a quality pressure washer to wash the car and less money on products? Or would I rather spend less money on the pressure washer? I guess we'll find out when I use it, you know, which is a better solution, which is a better course of action as you're building your arsenal and building your, you know, your product list. Anyway, I thought I'd grab some unboxing footage, but that's the SunJoe SPX 3001. I pretty much guarantee you it's not 1.8 gallons per minute, but we'll see. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.